I hope you are as excited as I am to be on the Ed Innovator series. Last week we talked about the communication rubric where we explore different anchor lessons. And today we are talking about skilled communication. How do we as educators ensure that we are planning and helping our children communicate effectively in this globally connected world? And yes, you would agree with me that in 20 years, the internet and technology has advanced a whole lot. Estimates show that we have over 7 billion phone users. It means that one person in every home is using a mobile phone. So you know and you agree with me that our mobile phones have become the most effective and the most cost-effective means of communicating with people, right? How do we help our children explore these technology tools? Come with me and let's do this. Now, our mobile devices allow for different formats. You have blogs, you have instant messaging, you have SMSs, and all you need to connect with anyone outside Nigeria or within the globe is what? Your phone and the internet. And voila, you can communicate with anyone in the world. Now, these tools allow for enormous opportunities for us to be able to teach our children to communicate effectively and not just engage in low-level chatter, in tweets or in single words and insults and foul languages. We need to be able to teach our children to communicate effectively. And 3 P's need to be considered: the people, the process, and the products. Now, who are the people we are communicating? How do we communicate? And what is the end product of this communication? Indeed, our children need to be taught about how to engage in deeper conversations that are world-related. How to engage in multimodal forms of communication, include pictures, include text, include videos, in substantiating their work or their written communication. So our children need to be taught this on how to engage with people on a deeper level, on a more advanced level. For our younger children, they can use methods like the audio messaging format. You give them assignments and you tell them, give your feedbacks in audio message forms, and they can even attach drawings, right? While the older children, they can engage in video messages, do a video recording of the activities of what assignments you ask them to do. They are able to explain. For instance, they are giving something an assignment to talk about rocks. They engage in videos. They substantiate it with their examples, their evidences, they attach videos, they attach links. They are able to talk extensively about whatever assignment is given to them. And those are the deeper conversations we need to be able to teach our children to engage in. Our job as educators is for us to be able to teach our children to be skilled communicators, to be able to engage on a deeper level, to be able to engage in extensive communication. And that is our job as educators. We need to begin to design learning activities that would focus on ensuring our children are engaging and communicating skillfully. Now, these different forms of communication can either be in print or in digital formats. Now, for the skilled communication rubric, we would be looking at a framework that is designed to help us determine if our communication is extended and if it's multimodal. It would also be looking at if our communication provides a logical explanation or a supporting evidence or example to go with our communication. It would also focus on whether our communication is targeted at a specific audience. This is all focused at ensuring that our children are communicating effectively. Our focus is more on the formal means of communication, how our children are able to articulate their ideas into a permanent form. For instance, podcasts. How do our children communicate and put together a podcast? How do our children write a document? How do our children communicate on blogs? How do our children engage in presentations? And how do our children engage in performances? This includes role plays and debates. Now, we know that there are other informal means of communication. Informal means like Skype, like Microsoft Teams, like Zoom. We may focus on this towards the end of this course, but we want to talk more on the formal means of education because that is our focus, and that would help our children scale up in the future so that, yes, they are able to communicate effectively. Now, we mentioned extended communication being one of the framework. Extended communication focuses on a complete set of sentences and not just a single thought. This is in written communication. Now, in digital communication, extended communication will focus on a video series on a particular subject, or it could be a video series, it could be an audio series, any of which, but it would focus on such extended communication that is not just dropped in as a single thought, or as a single phrase. And that is what extended communication is about. Now, look at the samples. For instance, if we have a topic where a child is told to talk about rocks, examples of rocks, is that an extended form of communication? No. Yes. So now, if we have a topic where the child is given, talk about rocks. What are the types of rocks? Where can you find such rocks? How would you segment these rocks? What is the use and the beneficial factors of rocks? Then we are having an extended form of communication. I hope you agree with me. Now, multimodal communication comes into play when different elements are being integrated together to form a coherent whole and to form a coherent message, to form a stronger message. So, for instance, if I'm talking about a topic and I'm talking about 21st century learning model, for instance, when I talk about that and I'm able to substantiate it with links, with people's write-up, with Google scholarly articles, with evidences, with proofs, with pictures, then I am doing a multimodal communication. So, for instance, if a group of children are told to speak on something like, for instance, you're talking about clouds, and then in the clouds, they form a one-note communication, a form of one notebook, and they then enter different pictures, they enter videos, they enter links, they form written words, they even make a website on what they discovered and the activities that went into putting together that particular project. Then yes, they are engaging in multimodal communication. Now, when kids are asked to provide supportive evidence and they are given a topic, for instance, Alice in Wonderland or Fun City, and they are told to write a long essay, and they are able to provide supportive evidences to prove their points, or they are able to provide different activities they articulated to achieve that particular goal, or they are able to give you the different steps they took in solving a particular mathematical problem, then yes, they are engaging supportive evidences in their communication. For instance, yes, we gave an instance already, the mathematical problem. So for instance, I do a video and I'm telling you, I added x plus y to get this quadratic equation. I did an x square, I did an x cube. Then I'm giving evidences and I'm giving examples to justify my claims, telling you how I solved that problem. Then our children are effectively communicating. So next week, make it a date. We'll be looking at the skilled communication framework and how we can form this rubric to design our lesson activities effectively to help our children become skilled communicators. So the framework will focus on what? Multimodal form of communication, extensive form of communication. It will also focus on logical explanation, that's providing supportive evidences, examples, and of course, lastly, how to communicate with a focus on your target audience. That is all we'll be looking at. So we'll be designing this framework and learning how to design these activities in this way. I look forward to seeing you next week Saturday on the Ed Innovator series, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.